Some people in old age look like time is barely working on them. This is exactly the impression that Ram Patiala makes. He is 73 years old, but he looks at least 20 years younger. And it's not just about looks. His energy, movements, posture, and lifestyle are much more striking. Many people, even at the age of 35, look more tired than he did at 73. The most interesting thing is that his youth is not associated with expensive procedures or secret techniques. Its principles are simple and accessible to anyone who is ready to take life into their own hands. When you look at such people, you begin to realize that a person's age and condition are not always the same thing. Watch the video to the end and you will learn its main secrets of youth and longevity that can change your life. So, let's get started. The first thing that helps Ram Patiala stay young is constant movement, not infrequent attempts to take care of yourself on Monday, namely regular workouts. And here it is important to understand one thing. Training after 50 works very differently than when you were young. At a young age, sports are often needed for the sake of appearance. But as we age, physical activity becomes an instrument of the body's survival. When a person stops moving, the body begins to weaken very quickly, endurance decreases, vascular function worsens, joint mobility is lost, and energy levels decrease. The body seems to receive a signal: active life is over. And then the aging process begins to accelerate. But regular workouts do the opposite. They force the body to adapt to the load and maintain itself in working order. Blood circulation improves, cells receive more oxygen, and the brain stays active longer. A person begins to feel more cheerful, not only physically, but also psychologically. That's why active people often look younger than their years, even without perfect genetics. At the same time, it is important to understand that youth is not only the absence of wrinkles. True youth is the ability to move easily, get up quickly, and retain energy and interest in life. And it is the movement that helps to maintain this state for as long as possible. Dumbbell exercises play a special role in Ram Patiala's life. And this is one of the most powerful anti-aging tools that many still don't think about. People often believe that strength training is only necessary for a beautiful body, but in fact, muscles are a huge system that affects almost the entire body. After the age of 30, a person begins to gradually lose muscle mass. And most people don't even notice how they're getting weaker every year. The problem is that it's not just the strength that goes with the muscles. Metabolism slows down, body stability deteriorates, and energy levels decrease. Weakness becomes a part of everyday life. Dumbbell exercises help the body resist this process. When the muscles get stressed, the body understands that they need to be preserved. And a strong body almost always ages slower than a weak one. That is why people who continue to do strength exercises even into adulthood often look much younger than their peers. But there is one more important point. Strength training gives a person a sense of control over their body. And this directly affects the psychological state. When a person feels physically strong, even their behavior changes. They gain more confidence, energy, and inner stability. And this is also reflected in the appearance. The third secret of Ram Patiala's youth is social activity. And this is something that most people almost never think about when they talk about longevity. Many people believe that aging is only related to the body, but in fact, loneliness can age a person much faster than age itself. Ram has many like-minded people. He actively communicates and remains involved in life, and this is critically important for health. When a person feels like a part of society, the brain continues to work more actively. Emotions, new impressions, and energy appear. The body receives a signal that life continues, which means it needs to maintain a high level of activity. Very often, people start to age dramatically after they withdraw into themselves and lose their social circle. Life becomes monotonous, emotions disappear, inner drive disappears, and along with this, the body gradually fades away. In addition, the environment strongly influences a person's habits. If there are active and disciplined people around, it automatically motivates you to move forward. A person begins to unconsciously adjust to the environment. That is why having like-minded people is not just a pleasant bonus, but an important factor in longevity. And finally, the fourth principle is discipline. Perhaps it is she who unites all the other habits of Ram Patiala, because without discipline, any useful actions quickly become temporary. Most people expect motivation. They hope that one day they will be in the mood to start a new life. But the problem is that motivation is unstable. Today it is, tomorrow it is not. And discipline allows you to act regardless of your mood. And the most interesting thing is that discipline does not take away energy, but rather preserves it. When a person lives chaotically, he constantly has to fight with himself, force himself to exercise, go to bed earlier, and eat right. This creates internal tension and fatigue, but when useful actions become a system, the brain stops wasting energy on constant decisions. Life becomes more stable, calmer, and more efficient. This is why disciplined people often look more collected, confident, and youthful. Ram Patiala's story shows a very important thing. Aging is not just a matter of age. This is the result of a daily lifestyle. The body is constantly adapting to the way a person lives. If the body gets movement, exercise, communication, and a stable regime, it begins to function completely differently. And perhaps the main conclusion here is that youth is not an accident. In many cases, these are the consequences of habits that a person repeats over the years. Ram Patiala is not trying to beat age. He just creates conditions every day in which the body continues to remain strong, active, and alive. Friends, what do you think about this man? Write your opinion in the comments. If this video was useful to you, then please like it and share the link with those who might find it particularly useful. We also recommend watching this video, which has now appeared on your screen.